This TNT cannon uses no TNT when it shoots. What? Professor TNT, are you crazy? There's TNT in the thumbnail. You're lying. No, I'm dead serious. Because this TNT cannon uses TNT duping. This means we have an infinite amount of TNT, which means you can fire this cannon forever. This also means that this cannon is a really good option in survival if you want to build an easy, destructive, and most importantly, affordable TNT cannon. You can even borrow the TNT from the cannon and then use it somewhere else if you need it. Today, I'm going to show you how to build it, explain a little bit about how it works, and then I'm going to show you a way to adjust the cannon to your needs. Now, some important things I need to say before I begin. This TNT duper design is not by me. It was made by a user that goes by Jan on the TNT Archives Discord server. So humongous thanks to them. There's a lot of cool designs on that server that are just pure genius. Secondly, it might help to have at least a surface level knowledge of TNT duping, so I recommend you go ahead and watch this video by Squibble. They do a much better job explaining it than I think I could. Enough yapping though, let's build the cannon. So first we're going to start off with this strange bunch of areas. We have a 6x16 here, a 3x11, and a 3x4. Let's go over to the 3x11 and we're going to start building the TNT blast chamber. Start by walling off this area with 2 high walls all around. There you go. And then I'm going to build a little roof in the backmost part of it. Now we're going to go to the edge and we're going to place some fences. We're going to go all the way to the end. Right there. And let's extend this wall out a bit just to match with the fences. Let's do it on this side as well. And there should be exactly 9 fences. No more, no less. Now we got to place some floating fence gates right out over here. And we could just continue placing them. We go all the way to the end just like with the fences. And these fence gates are going to be to block any water. Of course, we have to also open all of those fence gates. So make sure they're all open. And now we can start placing our water. You can shift click on the fences so it doesn't waterlog them. And we're going to make it so that all the water is flowing backwards like that. Now I'm over here. I could close this off. Okay, that's the TNT blast chamber done. That was the easy part though. Now we have to build the actual TNT duper itself. Now, if you watched that video I recommended earlier, you should know that this requires 3 things. First, we need the TNT mover. We also need the block update detector. And of course, we need something to update the TNT. And yeah, of course, this one is just a piece of coral. We're going to start with the TNT mover. Alright, so here we are back at our cannon. I'm on the little 3x4 platform. We're going to go over to this corner and we're going to make a staircase-like shape and then place a block over here. And then we're going to break these 3 blocks. And now we're stuck with that sort of shape. Now we're going to place a regular piston here, a sticky piston right over here, and a block in front of it. Then we're going to place some glass here and then one right next to the piston. Now real quick, this doesn't really have anything to do with the mover, but it would be inconvenient to do it at another time. We're going to place a block here and then place a rail here and then a rail going up over here. And we could break this. This is just so we get this set up. If we built everything else, then we're going to have to break it and then place the rail again. So it's better to do it now. Okay, back to the TNT mover though. We're going to place some redstone starting up on this glass, going all the way up over here. Place some redstone here, and then place a block right here on top of this redstone. Finally, we're going to place 2 torches here and then here. And now that should be the TNT mover all complete. So you can see when this block gets pushed, I'm going to simulate it being pushed. I'm going to place a block here, and then this breaks. You see it immediately moves that block. The reason that this is happening is because when this block gets moved here, then this redstone gets redirected up here, goes up here. This piston gets powered, moves this block out here, and then that powers this redstone, and then that causes the piston to move the block back. I hope that wasn't too confusing of an explanation, but yeah, it does this all in just 6 game ticks. Now we're going to work on the block update detector, and this is very easy. We've kind of already built most of it. You could already see we have the redstone redirection going on here. All we need to do is just come up over here, place a note block right there, and then we're going to place a block right here, and then redstone going up here. And there we go, that's the block update detector done. And now let's finally move on to the part where we're gonna get some TNT in our cannon. So I'm gonna start off by getting my coral fan, and I'm gonna place it here and then a block above it. This block is very important, by the way. Do not miss this block. Now we're going to extend this redstone signal out all the way over here. Stop right there. And we're going to place some redstone going all the way here and place a piston right here. And this is going to be the piston we're going to use to initially push the TNT in that direction. And then, of course, the block mover is going to respond by pushing it back. Now we can actually place our TNT. So we're going to place 10 pieces of TNT. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. After we have all of our TNT placed, now place some slabs on the top of this. And these are also very important. So this block and these slabs are for protection. And just like that, we're done with the TNT duper. To utilize it, we need to run an observer signal into this piston. So let me place an observer right here. And then I update the observer. And you can see we get some duped TNT. Very nice. Now, of course, we can turn this into an observer clock. So I place an observer here. And there we go. We get a barrage of TNT for completely free. No TNT is being used here. All of it is being duped. Now, of course, it would be very ideal if this was toggleable, so that's what we're going to do. I'm going to move the observer clock back over here now, so it has a 1 block gap. And now we're going to break this just a tiny bit and replace this block with a sticky piston. And then we could place a block right over that. And this is going to be our way to toggle it. We just need a lever right over here. And then we're able to trigger on the observer clock. If you want to turn it off, just turn off the lever. And there we go. Now in this state, I would say this is probably the most simple version of the cannon. You're able to break these temporary blocks if you want, if you don't want to have this floating platform here. But yeah, now we have a cannon all complete. We have it toggleable. Everything is working all good. I turn it on. And we can fire this for as long as we want. Very cool. But now that we're done, there's a few essential notes that I need to tell you about this cannon. First of all, I mentioned before, right? This block important, these slabs important. These are not optional. Let me just show you why. I'm going to break that block right there, right? I'm going to turn this on. I got my command ready to kill all the entities. And if you don't use that block, you're going to see that all the TNT gets sprayed all over the redstone, right? So this is the block preventing it from getting on the redstone. Secondly, if you do not have these slabs on top of the cannon, it might look fine at first, right? We have the TNT spraying very normally, right? You see the TNT's getting pretty close, right? And then you got a TNT right on top. So make sure the block is there. Make sure the slabs is there. It's not optional. It's completely mandatory. Make sure you do that. Secondly, you probably should turn off this cannon if you're going to exit the chunks. You know how these things go. It's probably not going to end well if you have your cannon partially loaded. And thirdly, you'll notice that the cannon pretty often, you can already kind of see it over here, it pretty often shoots the TNT kind of really close to the cannon. And this is part of the reason why I said you should build this cannon in a high place, because you don't really want that TNT affecting you. But let's say you're building this like next to a structure or something. You probably don't want that TNT right next to the structure, and it's going to blow up the structure right next to it. There's actually a way to avoid this though, and that would be to turn the cannon off at a certain time right before the TNT starts getting close. Now you may notice that the cannon has these little pauses in between its firing, and you want to toggle it just a little bit before that pause happens. Now, of course, it's really hard to trust yourself in a situation where you need to apply such an arbitrary timing. So it's the most ideal if we used an ether clock to precisely time when we want our cannon to stop firing. So you can see, I fire it fires for a certain amount of time. And right before the TNT starts getting close, you can see that's a pretty good distance. It stops. Now, quick tutorial for the clock. To do this, first we're going to break this lever and then break this block just for a little safety. We don't want any accidental activations going on. And now we're going to build this really wide U-looking shape. So place a block next to this piston. And then we go 1, 2, 3, 4. And then go up here. Now place our two hoppers. We're going to make them run into each other. So make sure that they're actually facing inside of each other. And then for this top part, we're going to place a regular piston here. and a sticky piston right here. Then place redstone on these elevated blocks, and then comparators on the bottom. Then we place a redstone block in front of the sticky piston, and then a note block anywhere touching the piston. I'm going to place mine right over here. And then finally, we're going to fill this hopper under the redstone block with 7 of an item. I'm just going to pick this yellow concrete. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And you saw it loop a bit when I put in those items. Now it's kind of in this state where the piston doesn't realize that it can push this block because it doesn't realize that this is cleared. So if we give it an update with the note block, there we go. You see that gets extended for a while. There we go. There we go. So this note block is our activation device. We can use this for our timer. And if you want to place more items in there, you're welcome to, but 7 is the magic number. Because if we replace our block here, trigger it, you can see the cannon always is going to stop right at this distance. It's never going to spawn any TNT right there, super close like we were doing before. Now you know how to build a TNT duper cannon. I hear they're actually removing TNT dupers. That's pretty sad, but we can take advantage of this while we still can. I'm also aware this is not the craziest TNT duper cannon, but I feel like it's great in terms of accessibility so that anyone could build this cannon with a bit of time. So I hope you guys enjoyed. Make sure you subscribe and like the video for more TNT cannon content, and I will see you in the next one. Thanks for watching.